Welcome back to the Business of Defense, sponsored by ASMC on Federal News Network. I'm talking with Mary Ahern Schneider, president and founder of Significance, an economically disadvantaged, women-owned small business with offices in Alexandria, Virginia, and Annapolis, Maryland. Significance's business value proposition is rooted in relationships, experts, solutions, and trust. Mary, welcome back.
Hi, thanks again.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want to talk about, we talked earlier in the first segment about this relationship focus, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that in the context of your customers. So who are your primary customers?
I think you mentioned earlier, we're in all of Department of Defense, so we're in all the services, but our two main footprints are in the Navy, specifically NAVFAC, and then the Marine Corps PNR.
Okay, great. And it's mostly then financial management, audit, readiness systems work?
And then systems, yes.
Okay. And again, talking about the relationship focused, I've had some people tell me that it's difficult to establish relationships like you would in the private sector, long-term established relationships with the government sector because of the government acquisition regulations, procurement regulations. But you've really made that a linchpin of your business. Can you talk about that? And is it a successful strategy for you?
I think it's a successful strategy, and we have enjoyed it because we're small. So I think that, as we grow, we're going to have to keep an eye on how we continue this. But honestly, our relationships either are built. People come into the company, and we have a lot of prior government, prior military. They come in, they have the existing relationships, and we try to build on them. And through our solutions and bringing in experts, we try to build and establish that bond with them, and then have them just so they can trust us to deliver what they need. But it's tricky because you need to also keep a arm's length away. And
right.
There's been situations where we're honestly trying to build a relationship, and sometimes it's perceived okay, let's meet for a beer. You just have to be careful a lot of these times to make sure you're also keeping it clean. So
no,
for them, you don't want to get them in trouble by being too good of friends with them.
Absolutely. A second pillar, you talked about talent management and bringing in the right talent. A second pillar for you is experts, having these experts. How difficult is it right now to find the expert talent? There's a lot of competition out there in the marketplace. So are you able to find the experts that you need to support your growing business?
Oh, it is extremely challenging right now. Luckily, because we started in 2014, we have been able to acquire a lot of talent before that. But now, here we are, 2022, people are getting, the larger companies are able to afford $100,000 bonuses, signing bonuses, and we're a small company, so it's challenging for us. We don't have that cash to
right.
reserve to be able to, give us a cushion until this breaks up a little bit. So it's a challenge every day. We sell our culture. We sell our, the promise of, you being able to be empowered. But it is, again, we're fighting against other people in the same boat. So it's tricky. But we've been able to still continue to grow and bring in talent. It's just going to be a little bit tougher battle.
No, absolutely. So, you mentioned culture as well. Obviously, that's very important. If you can't necessarily pay competitively with others, some of the largest, you can establish a corporate culture that is inviting and people want to work in and where they really feel empowered. Can you talk a little bit about the corporate culture at Significance and what type of culture you're trying to establish there?
That is actually one of our biggest, initiatives. And I actually even have a chief people and culture officer, and this was before 2020. Interesting enough, the COVID and that's really put a challenge into us continuing to build a culture because people were remote. What we've done is we try to interface with our employees and our customers as much as possible. The employees for the culture part, we We promote work-life balance. We promote continuous training and growing themselves personally and professionally at CDFM. We promote, we enjoy helping the community and driving causes, and really having people just enjoy what they're doing and what their work is. It's hard to pinpoint, but we also look for people that are cultural adds, not a fit, because the fit is like the cookie cutter. You're all the same. The ads are adding a different dimension to the company. When you're looking at somebody who has a diverse background, they can add such a different perspective to our culture.
So it really ties in, that culture piece ties into your thoughts on diversity, equity, inclusion in the company. Does that resonate then when you provide services to your government customers? Do they recognize that?
I think so, because I think, for example, I have a woman that was actually the director of a battered women's shelter that works for us, but her perspective in some of the work that we're doing, along with in tandem with the collaboration of the people that are experts in that specific work stream, resonates with the customer. So it's as we collaborate and we fit the parts and pieces together, it's a value add for them.
So as you grow, we talked in the first segment about the growth and kind of growing out of some of these categories, these small business categories in the future. What type of talent are you going to need to bring on? Are you looking not only for experts, but also are you starting to consider board of advisors, board of directors? Are you at that level where you need to start thinking much bigger?
We do. We need to start looking at, again, as I think we've got a 2-year runway right now, and we had to sharpen up our internal structure. We need to bring in people that have been on the other side of a growth situation. I've been starting to establish a board of advisors / board of directors. We're at that size where it's going to be necessary. So yes, it's keeping the internal talent as we can, and then bringing in people that can help us get to the next level.
Yeah, and I know you've talked a lot about your father and the impression that he had upon you as an entrepreneur. Can you talk a little bit about other mentors or your father a little bit more, and what kind of traits make for an entrepreneur to be successful in this highly competitive government contracting environment?
I think I'll move on from him, but he's great, and he's from Brooklyn, and he was scrappy, and I learned a lot from him. The one thing I also learned from him was to stay humble and know where you came from, because you're never bigger than the people that you're with. I wanted to mention some other mentors. I looked at the word mentor. I think of it as a person that's either support, a person that teaches you, that gives you guidance. And I have, really leaned on many women that are in the professional world. There's a woman named Sarah Starry. She's been Starry Associates. She's been in business for over 30 years in this crazy world, and she has just remained grounded and not full of herself. But she's large. She's almost ridiculously large at this point, but very open to giving me advice and communicating with me what her thoughts are. Attends our Christmas party. I have Ginger Bonin's another one. When I first started, she said, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you get there. And was very supportive with me. And I just feel like when I think about women, again, lighting another candle is not going to detract from your light, right? So they continue to support each other. There's nothing to lose by helping others. So I feel very lucky to have many professional women colleagues that are very supportive, and of course men too. But
So we talked earlier about some of this bias against women in business. It sounds like you've experienced some of that. But you've been able to overcome it. And so is that some of the advice that you give to women starting out in business as well? Is sometimes you have to look past that and push through, apply some of your father's grit and resilience, and just to kind of get into it?
Yeah, so I would say that is probably the first thing you need to know as a woman getting into this business. It's predominantly men, and it is what it is, and embrace it. So you're going to embrace it, and you're going to have to, you're not going to change it, and it's fine. It's just, it is what it is. And so you just kind of remain steady and just like win the little wins, celebrate the little wins, because eventually you're going to look back and go like, oh my gosh, I'm a legitimate company. So continue to believe in yourself, embrace the fact that it's a man's world for the defense contracting, and of course, because most of the military personnel are male. So that's it, and there's a reason for that. So.
Do you see some of that shifting though over time? I think a year or two ago, the heads of the 4 biggest defense contractors were all female at one time, which was really a momentous occasion. But do you see this pendulum shifting a little bit?
Yeah, I think I definitely think that the women. I mean, even if I look at my current customers, there's so many women now. So the pendulum is switching. I just, it's again relationship driven. So you have to continue to build your relationships, and that's in defense of the men in the world. If they serve together, they've built those relationships over the years. So now as we have more and more women entering the military, and the numbers become more equal, then we see them coming in with the relationships too.
Great. Well, so let's talk 5 years from now. Where is Significance 5 years from now, and where is Mary Ahern Snyder?
That is a good question. Our plan is to continue to grow, and I said if I guess all goes well, unless something implodes, we'll probably graduate in the next, in 2025 or 2026, we'll be considered large in some areas. And so what I will be doing, I will still be around, probably not for 10 years, but for for at least 5. And the plan is just to grow, empower, and build out our capabilities. And when I say that, deeper in the customers, getting more and more capabilities. And then as we expand our breadth, the breadth of the customers. And right now we're currently DoD, but we're not, there's Army, we still have a lot to go in Army, we have a lot to go in Air Force. So duplicating what we're doing in the current customer base and going into expanding our customer base and building those relationships and capabilities and building those experts and those other customers.
Fantastic. Well, I've really enjoyed speaking with you today, Mary, and I appreciate all the insight that you provide us into not only Significance, but kind of the unique aspects of, again, being an economically disadvantaged, women-owned small business and operating in this very, very competitive landscape. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to thank today's guest, Mary Ahern Snyder, President and founder of Significance, for her insights into Significance's business structure, strategy, model, and culture that provides a competitive advantage for her company while meeting the needs and requirements of her government clients. Watch The Business of Defense again next month, where we bring you inside the companies working to drive transformation in the defense sector, to hear directly from their business leaders and to understand how they create value for their companies and their customers. I am Rich Brady, CEO of the American Society of Military Comptrollers, and I thank you again for joining us. You are listening to Federal News Network. For more on this discussion, visit federalnewsnetwork.com and search ASMC.